Chapter 2, Part 5. These ponies are doing something. Okay, Chapter 2, Part 5. Story 2. I can't deal with this becomes one step at a time. James and the power of presence. James was a single father navigating a difficult divorce, a stressful job, and raising 2 young daughters on his own. His go-to phrase in moments of overwhelm was, I can't deal with this. Oh my God, how many times have I said that in my life? He said it under his breath constantly when the washing machine broke, when one of the girls cried, when the bills piled up. At first it was just a verbal tic, but over time his body began to mirror the phrase. He felt fatigued. He lost motivation. His anxiety spiked. It was as if his mind had internalized the message, I can't handle life. A friend gently pointed this out. You say that a lot. I can't deal with this. But look at you. You are dealing with it every day. James decided to change the phrase. He wasn't ready to declare, I've got this. That felt fake. So he started with, just one step at a time. When things got rough, he'd pause and say, even if through gritted teeth. When things got rough, he'd pause and say it, even if through gritted teeth. Something subtle began to shift. I don't know if you can hear the violent fight happening behind me. Something subtle began to shift. His stress didn't vanish, but it no longer buried him. One step at a time became his mantra. He started sleeping better, tackling things bit by bit. By affirming his presence, he regained a sense of control and peace. Lesson. Words like I can't create paralysis. Replacing them with grounded language like one step at a time restores agency and focus. Story 3. He's useless to he's struggling. Anna's relationship transformation. Anna had been married for 12 years when her husband Rob lost his job. The financial pressure wore on them both, but Anna felt the emotional brunt. Rob became withdrawn. He stopped helping around the house. He avoided conversations. Anna's frustration turned into resentment. Her most common phrase when venting to friends, he's useless. A counselor helped her see, at first it was just to blow off steam, but she started saying it in front of her kids. She even said it once while Rob was within earshot. That night, he didn't come to bed. A counselor helped her see the deeper issue. The phrase, he's useless, wasn't just cruel, it was a label. One that stripped Rob of dignity and robbed her of empathy. The counselor... I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Mila and Fred. The little kitty battle happening behind me is very real. A counselor helped her see the deeper issue. The phrase he's useless wasn't just cruel, it was a label, one that stripped Rob of dignity and robbed her of empathy. The counselor invited her to reframe the language, not to excuse his behavior, but to name what was truly happening. He's struggling. That simple shift changed how Anna approached him. She began asking, what do you need, instead of, why aren't you doing anything? She started validating his pain instead of criticizing his paralysis. Rob eventually opened up. He confessed he felt like a failure and didn't know how to rebuild. Their marriage didn't magically heal overnight, but the tone changed. Compassion re-entered the home. And it all began with changing one damaging phrase into one truthful one. Lesson: our words towards others condemn or connect. Shifting from blame to understanding can restore intimacy and trust. 4. It's always a disaster to it's a work in progress. Malik's reframing of chaos. Malik ran a small food truck in a busy downtown area. Business was good, but the pace was hectic. Employees came and went, supplies ran short, orders got mixed up. His go-to phrase, it's always a disaster. He said it jokingly, but it became a kind of shield. Anytime someone pointed out a problem, he'd shrug and laugh, what do you expect? It's a disaster every day. Eventually, one of his employees quit, leaving a note that said, I can't work in a place where everything is always a disaster. Malik was shocked. To him, it was just a funny phrase. But he realized that language sets the tone. If the leader of a business calls it a disaster, why would anyone believe it could run smoothly? He changed the phrase. Instead of calling it chaos, he began saying, "It's a work in progress." He wrote it on the whiteboard in the truck. Employees picked it up. Soon, it became their rallying cry. When things went wrong, they didn't panic. They worked through it. The energy changed. Clients noticed. Reviews improved. Malik learned that how you describe your space becomes how you experience it. Lesson: habitual speech creates culture. The way we describe our environment becomes the atmosphere we live and work within. The ripple of conscious language. These stories share a common thread. Words weren't just describing life, they were defining it. Whether reinforcing helplessness, shame, judgment, or chaos, habitual speech carved emotional and energetic grooves. And with intention, these grooves were reshaped. When we shift our language, we don't just change how we sound, we change how we feel, think, and relate. We raise the frequency of our inner world, which inevitably transforms our outer one. This is the miracle of mindful speech. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. You only have to change your next sentence. And from there, everything begins to unfold. Speak what you want to grow. Speak what you want to become. Speak as if your words are the seeds of your future, because they are. Okay. That is the end, I believe. That is the end of chapter 2. And actually, before I stop, I'm just going to comment on this, because even I'm fairly careful with how I speak. But even this chapter has caused me to really stop and think about how I am talking, even more than I already did. And I'm noticing through this, there are areas where I still, like, for example, my dishes. In the past, okay, let me try to phrase this properly. So I will talk about how I can never keep my kitchen clean. Like, I struggle keeping my kitchen clean. I say that all the time because it's just that one area that everybody dumps stuff and everybody's in, and there's a constant revolving door, right? And I can see how I am talking about my kitchen is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it ensures that it continues to be the bane of my existence. So I will say, after reading this last chapter, I'm going to look a little bit deeper. I think I'm going to grab myself a notebook. I tell other people to do it. I'm grabbing my own notebook. I'll see you for chapter 3.